Someone peeked in and then they left. Hello, hello. Welcome. Come on in, everyone. My name is Mary Jane Tracy, and psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and astrologer, and a teacher, and a spiritual teacher. So just coming in with the 411 of the cosmic highway of what's going on with the shenanigans of the planet. And just coming up on and looking at some of the news, looking at the news. I like to look at what's trending, because I'm such a trendy lady. I'm a very trendy lady. Good morning, and the weirdos in the back. Well, I love it because I haven't watched SNL for a long time. Used to be a huge SNL fan. Used to watch it back in the day. But haven't watched it as much because anyways, Megan Thee Stallion has a powerful SNL performance, and what she had to say, it was pretty. I watched clips of it. It was an extremely powerful performance, and I know it's with the governor. I think the governor of Kentucky it was. Anyways, of what he is, because he's coming under scrutiny of what happened in Kentucky and about the murder of the Black woman. And it's just unreal. It is just unreal. Because he feels like he's just and whatever. But I mean, these are kind of the crazy things that are going to be arising and things that are going to be coming up. My daughter also in, where was it? She went to Bishop McNally. So Bishop McNally was a school that she went to. And this is the other thing that was just like totally fucking outrageous shit that's going out. A substitute teacher came up to a kid at Bishop McNally. It's a high school. And she was eating black licorice. And the teacher said, back in the day, we called those babies. And she then proceeded to say, oh, my bad. I can't say that nowadays. There's a lot of things you can't, you don't even have to say it to say that you don't have to say it. That's the whole thing. There's things you just don't have to say, right? And people are like, well, I just don't have to say that. No, just shut your fucking mouth and don't say it. Like, really? Welcome to Wednesday, man. It's like it's a real radical day today. I mean, as I posted out or was speaking the other day, how crazy the energies are for coming into this week anyways. And we are going to be under the 13 days of a lot of weird changing realities that are going to be coming in. And we're going to see more people that are going to be posting and saying, you know what, that's not politically correct. That's just that, not even politically correct. I wouldn't even say politically. I love to leave that word out. That is just wrong. Wrong. That's different, Tammy. That is different. See, the thing is that you come, okay, we're going to get into a political debate. That is totally different when a black person is using it. There's certain connotations. You don't call black licorice that anymore. Like, you just don't. You don't go up and you go into the store, I want those. You call it black licorice. When people in rap music, or even my son's music, because he is black, say certain things, it is part of their lingo, and they have a right to use it. Whether we, as white, think it's right or wrong, we don't really have a say in that. Now, for my audience who is that of color can pipe in and say if I'm right or wrong on that. But that's the way it is. And they will use it in their music to stress out a point. So in saying it in the rap music, in the rap industry, it is coming in as saying it as part of the song. Just don't sing along. No, you can sing along, but I mean, it's going to be weird if you're a middle-class white woman singing, along with those songs. It'll be like, weird. But I mean, no one's going to stop you from singing along, but you got to understand, and it's part of the education And a lot of people don't understand Black culture. That's why when this all started, I posted out a bunch of books for people to read to educate themselves on the whole thing, on Black culture. And that's why when she came out and was saying that, when Megan came out and was singing on SNL, was huge. That was a huge one. I mean, for her to come out and she spoke out about it and about Black women's lives matter because of the disgrace and discrimination, Black women go under when and aren't treated appropriately, right? Off to COVID testing today. Feeling fine though. Precautionary. Oh, before you go into the office. Weird. Weird. But yeah, so that's with the energies that are coming out today, it is very it's very crazy. Because we have our Uranus opposite Mercury, and Uranus is the higher optic of that of Uranus, right? VP, the number one song. The world is crazy. So, but it's you got. All I'm going to say, Tammy, is that you got to understand the culture and where the song's coming from and where the people are writing it from. And that's a big thing, is understanding the culture of a lot of the things where these songs are coming from, and why they're singing what they're singing. So that's the whole thing. So I mean, like it or not, there's a lot of music out there that people don't like, but but it's understanding. And whether, the thing, we could just go into anyways, I won't even go there. But with the energies today, it is about staying in our light and staying in our love, because there's what you think it is or going to be, you're going to find it's not. So the craziest, most unexpected things are going to be hitting the highways and byways right now. This is where we got to stay in this energy, because even with Neptune can still get you into a denial. Neptune can still get you into a place of, even with the positive aspects there, because Neptune is the delusional. Neptune gets you into that delusional energy of, because it is the dream lord. So this is a day, to really bring in prosperity and abundance. And this is really a day of looking at going with the flow, really going with the flow of a positive note. And even when we don't understand things, or we don't understand what's going on, or the energies that may be happening, it's really about us taking an objective view and really standing outside and taking an observation. And if we're not really understanding it or really feeling it, then it's about us finding that different road, or maybe even trying to understand it or learn about it in some way, in some contents. This is such a weird, the next 13 days are totally going to be weird. They're going to be totally weird. There's going to be some crazy information that's going to come up, or things said, disruptions that are going to come in. And plus, the hammer of Thor coming in with Virgo. So that's very finite. She just knows where she's heading with her energies and how she wants to come forth with these energies and this transformation and making these changes. So there's this huge energies that are coming in to bring forth change again for us, but coming in very radical forms. It's like the Four Cups coming in. And that's one of the cards I drew this morning on my Instagram post, is that the Four Cups coming in is like, here's a gift for you, and it's great and it's wonderful, but you may not be accepting it because it's not in the way that you want it to be, or you don't want it said that way, or it's just not the way that you wanted it. And this is what Uranus and Mercury are doing, because there's a lot of information that's going to be coming in. So just get your brain prepared for all the information, because it's an information overload. All of the things that are coming forth are coming in to get us to take a look at this. Is this wanting to be a part of your world or not? Does this really, you want this? Okay. But it's not going to be packaged in the way that you want it to be packaged. It's going to be so far left or right to what you think or believe. It's going to cause shockwaves, and that's where Uranus comes in. You know, it brings in the shockwaves. He brings in the shockwaves of how we see things, how we believe things, just in how we communicate. It just brings in a whole new wavelength of energies that are going to be coming forth for us. And it is I'm going to say in a somewhat positive way, because as we're going towards the weekend, and with all the squares to the Mafia brothers, but this is coming together in a newness that really wants us to stay in that positive love and stay in that ultimate energy of saying, yes, this is what I want to come forth with. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to proceed within my energy field to create what I'm trying to create or wanting to create in my world. So there is a lot of frustration that could come out of today, definitely. But it's I'm going to say it's the devil card reversed, because it's letting go of any ties that you feel tied to, anything that you feel a part, or that you think you should be a part of. And it feels like, no, that's not where it's going. So it's kind of funky energies over the next few days, 13 days, actually. I'm going to say it. It's going to be 2 weeks. And then Mercury on the 13th is going to be going retrograde. So we're coming into some information. Some of it is going to feel odd or shaky, or maybe we can't get it as yet. But that Uranian energy is really going to come in and bring in some crazy shockwaves for us. And I mean, there are already some really, with that SNL debut 2 days ago with her, with Megan there, and just with other announcements that I feel that are going to be coming out for us in our world, that is going to cause some crazy changes again. But I mean, hey, what has this year been about? This year has been all about crazy changes and things that are coming in for us at left field, right? This is where we come in and we just continue to ride the waves. The image that I get is that we're riding on the backs of dolphins, and we're kind of we're hanging on with the backs of dolphins. We're standing up, and the dolphins are like our horses on the ocean waves, and they're coming in and they're guiding us to where we need to go. So this dolphin energy is coming in very strongly, and dolphin energy is very healing and very loving. And so they're there, and we're guiding them, and we're feeling that energy and the spray of the ocean in our face, the energy and the warmth of the sun beating down, and the coolness of the breeze. So there's a lot of this beauty that is there. We just have to embrace it in adversity, right? Because there's going to be things or people that they don't understand, or we don't understand, or there's something there that's just not feeling right. So we got to find a place where we do feel right, Do you still think we're going to another lockdown? Yes, I do. I don't know how that's going to look. I have no idea, because it's in Uranus's hands. Uranus is coming in this last play, in this last part of the year, and bringing in bringing in the hand of uncertainty and unknown. Uranus, we never know. We never know what's going to happen. We know that it's going to be crazy and radical just by the aspects that he's making. The Mafia brothers, they're closer together than when they ever been. They're on the world point. So we know that there's going to be something that is radically changing upon the world point. We know this because that's every time as an astrologer, you look at those points, change happens. Radical change happens. And the biggest parts are on October 16th with the new moon and all the squares that are going to be coming up to the world point at that time. So yeah, there is going to be some lockdowns or something happening. There's also, we're going to be feeling too, where a lot of people who were for jobs, like because of the hours being cut back with a lot of retails and stuff along that line, this is a time when they hire back or hire Christmas staff. Are they hiring Christmas staff? They're not, it's their numbers aren't there to hire people on at this time for a lot of retailers. So for jobs and stuff that people may go for during this time aren't going to be there. So we're going to be feeling a huge economic crunch during this time also, and going into the new year. So there's a huge economic crunch that's coming down with everything. So there's a lot that's happening. That's why with today, it's about finding that part of you, that passion and that ride that you want to go on, and finding that ride, finding that passion. And I'm not the only person who's said that about, the lockdown coming. I mean, we got many astrologers that are all in consensus, and to get astrologers to all agree on one thing, it's huge. And this is not only with Western astrology, it's in Vedic astrology as well. So when you see it on both sides, it's kind of like, okay, there's something there. There's something there, And I know right now everything looks beautiful. Everybody thinks everything's going back to regular normalness, and we're all going back to just, regular office day, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday kind of world. And I honestly don't see it. I don't. I know the borders just opened up, and they're trying to open them up to bring in trade, and that's because there's food shortages on both sides of the border right now. So they want to bring in something more, and also this is a time for the snowbirds to go down south. So they want to make sure that they go down there because they're a huge part of the economy in those areas, because they're down there for 6 months, and that's where they spend their money. They don't spend their money. Snowbirds do not spend money in Canada, really. God bless them. They mainly spend their money down in the States because that's what they save up to do. So for majority of they might pay taxes and everything up here, but a majority of their money on average, and that's what, it's been shown, that they spend down in the States. So they're a huge part of the economy down in the States too. So plus they're the older population that do hold a lot more of, on average, older people vote, younger people don't. So so when it comes to making holding a vote, it's usually the people who are the snowbirds, the ones with the money here in the South. Plus the virus is bad here now. Yeah. No, I understand that, but they did open it. They just opened it the other day. And that's the whole thing, is that the snowbirds are going to be coming down. And then again, according with the virus, and what they show is that it is harder on people who are elderly, who are, and most of them that go south, I mean, they're not, I mean, they're healthy, but there's usually other implications. Some of them have heart issue, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all of the usual things. So it's quite interesting. how things, and it comes down to economics, right? So economics have a huge say. Plus, in the States, you have your vice president debate today. That's going to be on tonight. So that's going to be crazy with this Uranus energy on what's going to be between the two, because they're so opposite. They're so opposite, just with personalities, and it's just crazy. It's just going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy day. That's all. It's going to be crazy, but I think we can stay in some fun. I think it'd be a good day to just do something that is just fun to do. Finger painting, playing, going out and going into a park, enjoying, just do something that is totally out of your personality, a little bit radical today, to allow and break up any chaos and nuttiness that is happening in and around you. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of crazy. So I'm going to put it out there because I have a few minutes. If you guys have any questions, because I know Charlene already asked her question. But if anybody else has any questions, I got to close my, because the sun is starting to come in. We get to fall back soon with the energy. So the time clock, we get to fall back. So if anybody has any questions. So if you're wanting to book a chart reading and get a natal chart reading, definitely get a hold of me, DM me, PM me, so that we can get you in. We also have the ghost tour that's coming up. No COVID for me. Why, do you think you have COVID? No, I don't see COVID with you. So, and we also have the ghost tour that's coming up at Blessed Circle. Just let me bring this up. I'm going to bring Blessed Circle up so people can see the website or the as we have. There we go. Bring that share up. This is what's happening on this Friday night, if you want to join me. So here it is. She's got a good picture here. We're going to have a walk, a haunted walk. So you can go to the innercirclyyc.com. It starts at 6:30, and we will be starting there. Where to on the next? Where what? Is this on 4th Street? This is on. It's in between. It's 224. We start off at the store, which is at 224 13th Ave. Oops. 13th Ave Southwest. Tickets are available on YYC, Inner Circle YYC. So that's the address. We're in between 1st and 2nd. And where we will start, I am not sure. I have an inkling on where I'm being pulled to start for this one. Each walk is a little bit different. We have basically, there's about 3 or 4 places I can walk to from there, because we have an hour. I get you like for about 45-minute walk, and then bring you back to the store. And then I give everybody a reading. So, and so tickets are on Inner Circle YYC. So this is in the Calgary area. And you can go to Inner Circle YYC. Were you scared or feel a ghost? I don't think she was scared. But it's interesting, because even just to pick up vibrations, and even if you're not in the Calgary area, this is where you can go in and you could just sort of get a feel of even your hometown, walking around different areas of your hometown, and get a feel of the different vibrations, and just allowing yourself just to feel anything that's gone on or anything that's going on within that area. And even in different neighborhoods, take a walk around different neighborhoods. That's always fun. So you're late to the party, Candace. You're like 20 minutes late. Where have you been? Did you get out of bed right away? So it's, yeah, I bring in history, as much history. I'm not a huge history, like I know history. I'm just not up on all the history of Calgary and things like that. I do know some. I just go by some of my walks are mainly on my intuition and how I feel and what I feel. Everybody gets a pendulum, so you get to play with the pendulum on the walks, and just to sort of feel and see what the pendulum does, especially as we go past certain places. Sometimes some people's pendulums really go really crazy when they go past certain places, and it's quite interesting to see. You're just like, whoa, I gotta keep walking from here, because it just different energies that have come in around the 13th Avenue is around the Beltline. It is around one of the original areas of Calgary. It is also where there's a lot, of course, Calgary has a lot of tunnels underneath, and a lot of them are closed or caved in over the years. So there's a lot of energy that flows, and we've taken our river, and our river, where it used to be huge, is not as wide as it was before, and the banks are a lot different than as time goes on. As you get closer, so sort of like the East Village, really crazy. The train used to go where the path was, or the path is, and East Village just holds a lot of, where a lot of immigrants stayed. That's where, where there were tents put up before the city was actually built. So there was a lot of mud and gunk and stuff like that. And houses weren't very big until later on, till the middle of the 1800s. Then we got bigger homes and stuff that were built, like the Lougheed homes. So I don't like lots of spots around Calgary. So it's all blood. I think most major cities are. I really do. When you look into the histories, go down to Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia is built on dead people. Go to New Orleans. There's a lot of death there. So most major cities, there is death. There is death. Of how they've taken over the land or taken the land from them. All kinds of things. I mean, England's a fine point because of, from the original settlers that were in England way back to prehistoric times. And then, as others, came in and conquered and took over, and the culture within England, it's very interesting in Ireland and all that area. So it's quite, I don't know. I think there's certain areas that are more bloody than others. But that's what makes a ghost walk. Makes it fun. and it's just, with England, every house pub is haunted. Yeah, it is. Well, just the history. I mean, watching different Timeline, which has been on for quite a number of years now, doing digs in different areas and getting an idea of just different timelines. And sometimes you won't, like the Neolithic timeline, a lot of stuff you won't find from them because it was all wood, and they didn't have, they didn't put down very strong foundations. You might find pieces of pottery and stuff like that, but a lot of that's been decayed, or the land's been plowed and torn up and, you know, dug apart. So it's so cool. It's so cool. You know, when you're getting into a lot of the histories and things along that line. Going back east, you find more of the battle plains where people were killed upon the battle plains. You find some of that here in the West, but not as much as you do when you go back to Eastern Canada or the Eastern United States or Southern United States, where it has a lot of different war plains where they had war or, you know, huge slaughters of people. So yeah, it just, I don't know. I just get, it's my Scorpio side comes out. I get so intrigued, you know, look at how when I was going to talk about one thing today, it goes on to ghosts. So anyways, if you want to book, definitely book for a reading or not for God, my brain is all over the place, to book a ghost walk. So Jared's family had a holiday home in St. John's where the first settlers stayed. Wow, that would have been interesting. That would have been very interesting. And he's from what, New Brunswick or Newfoundland? St. John's, Newfoundland or New Brunswick? So would like to go to sit of 9/11 to see what I feel. New Brunswick, yeah. Well, New Brunswick is interesting vibration. I think that would be overwhelming since, you know, 9/11 and the whole thing with it is there's so many controversies and that its own country killed its own people. You know, that's the horrific thing about 9/11. You know, it's not just like not only being attacked by a foreign nation, but the foreign nation was involved with your nation in courting and doing that because of what was in the basement of the towers. And the information that was down there was totally destroyed and that will never be able to be recovered, which has to do with a lot of taxes and things like that. And that were being held there and a lot of information about people's finances. So, and that was all lost in that attack. And amazing how the planes only hit the Pentagon on where it was being renovated and missed, you know, the White House. So it was just a horrific, just a totally horrific day. Just horrible. Fredericton is a real cute town. Yeah, it has that kind of cutesy kind of look, you know, just with the, you know, and the history and stuff that's there too. So very cool. But today, as I'm going to sneeze, I could tell things are going to start taking a turn soon. But today, with Uranus, that's the big part. Opposite Mercury is really going to cause some crazy energies for us. Dark connection dropped. I missed all you had to say about 9/11. Thank you. Thanks, Chantel. Excuse me. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the world today. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to come up that things are going to be just played out, right? She said it's very overwhelming considering its history. She's the Cliff Notes. You're the Cliff Notes. With things. So no, and so any other questions? Somebody asked me how I can read this. This was a question. I've been asked this quite a few times. Well, you guys are thinking about your own questions. Is how can I do readings when people aren't here with me? So many people, was that a red moon? Oh, and my explanation is that everybody has a dial where they can tune into, and allowing for that dial to be tuned in, and its energy flows like it's energy. Your body's giving off energy. I do readings with people on Periscope, Instagram, all of that kind of thing, and it's where the energy is. You can tune in anywhere in the world. If you can pick up a phone call from somebody in Paris or a text from somebody in Paris, and you can tune into their energy. So it's a flowing, it's just a dial. You just tune into that dial. Everybody has a different setting on how that frequency works, and the dial tunes in, right? And Candace, no, that wasn't a red moon. That because I think you saw it just as it was Mars, because Mars was very red, has been very red. And then the moon didn't come up because of how the moon is. The moon doesn't come up till about 2 to 3 hours after the sun sets. So the sun doesn't set till 9 right now, I believe. Just let me pull that up so I have that right. So when the sun sets, so we had the sunrise at 7:49. Sunset. And the sunset will happen at about 8:37 tonight, and then it comes out. So because the sun wasn't, just when I saw your post, I was just going to say, because the moon wasn't up yet. So maybe it was a spaceship. So just take a look at what time it was. You can look up to see where the moon phase was that night, or when the moon rose that night. So take a look at it. It was in front of my face. Maybe it was a UFO. So because usually the Mars is up, and then the other thing you can use, here's something else, star chart. Star chart. This is my star chart. So star chart, you can hold it up. I can hold it up right now, and I can see what's overhead of me and what's over behind me. So I can see, so in front of me, what's going on and what's happening over here. So there's the ecliptic. Uranus, Mars is already set. Neptune is set. Neptune is in the darkness there. Saturn, Pluto. Saturn and Pluto are over this way. That's cool. So it's kind of cool how you can follow it. I'm glad Jarrett saw it. I get what you're saying, but it was the moon. So unless you had part of the fires that were blowing over, because there's a lot of smoke that's been in the air. That's Star Chart. Star Chart is the app. It's free. So, but I don't know. I don't have an explanation for you, Candace. So, not too sure exactly what it was or what happened. How do you sense if you say my parents are around? Do you hear them, see them? How do I sense your parents? I know you're going, Dana. And how do I sense? That's hard to explain. I just do. I just know. They just come in and say hi. That's them. Or I get father in my head or mother in my head. And that's how it comes. So I just see, that's why it's like I do teach mediumship class, but I find it very hard to teach mediumship class because I sort of have to go through a set program because it's there. I get a sense. Sometimes people ask me, can you pick up my dog that died? And sometimes I'm just like, no, I can't, not. So sometimes I just don't pick up, like somebody wanted to know about their pets or something. And there's just, sometimes I'm like, they're just not there. And then, or a person, humans, I don't have issues with. Usually humans will come through. Or it's a message that comes through that they're like, well, that's not what they would say. But then again, they have to remember that when people die, their ego is no longer with them. Like they don't take this human form into the next realm. So when you transition, you don't take this, you take your true essence of your spirit. When I meet with people who have passed away, we kind of meet in a middle ground kind of thing. and and their perspective of the world is a lot different than what we hold as our perspective of the world, because they are no longer stuck into the 3D realm. So, and being here in the 3D realm. So that's a big thing. And then people often wonder why some people do get stuck here. And that's a hard one, because it's hard to say why particularly someone gets stuck in this world. Sometimes it's fear, that they're feared to go to the other side, and they will not go. They just refuse to go. Others come in and out to because they might feel like there are things that they haven't completed yet, and they really want to try and complete it in the spiritual form, but they can't complete whatever it is that they needed to complete without coming back and being reincarnated. And is there a hell? I believe there is a hellish place that people go to. I don't think everybody just goes to the light and are all pretty and loving and beautiful again. I think there's a hellish area that people go to that they have created or may have created on their own. And it's difficult. It's difficult to explain. There are different things that happen with people that when, especially, because we have interfered with timelines and stuff so much because of our because of modern science. We've interfered when people should have died and they haven't. And that can cause a weird vibration within the timeline. And this can be a disruption, especially when people's charts. And I know there's in Vedic, in some Vedic, they will tell you your death. Some people want to know their death. I don't predict anybody's death. It's just part of what I have been raised with and what my standards are, because I always say it's between you and God. But there are timelines that have been shifted because of medical science, because of our advancements in prolonging life on this world, right? Where babies may have died at birth, but now that child lived because of medical, medical interference, but because of the progression of medicine, has allowed that energy of that person to live on. So now they're here in this world. So now that's changed a timeline where maybe they were supposed to just to come in and go out, sort of thing, right? And this is a huge change that's happened within, and especially within our timeline that we are living now, and the advancements of medical science. So when we're looking at, when we're working with, spirits that get stuck here, or they're tied in some way to this world, I've met mediums that told me that they could clear any energy out of any room, and I would defy that, because I don't believe that there's no one person that can clear off anything in one room, unless you are coming from a very high divine realm, higher than what we are even aware of. Then I think there is a part where then they could clear it off, but they'd have to, that would even be a person of this realm, right? And bringing into this realm. Can your cards tell me if I will cross the Bifini Bridge? I don't even know what the fuck a Bifini Bridge is. So I have no idea. And why would my cards want to tell you that? Like, that's a fucking stupid question. Don't we have a multiple exit points? And based on the decisions we make, determine the time of our death? I think that's a belief system. I don't think that we have multiple exit zones. But I think there's, if, when we're ready to exit, we're ready to exit. So it's all depending on belief systems, I think, with that. So some people think that we do have multiple exits. But if you're really truly meant to stay, like if you, like people who defied, like a friend of me, like defied his car accident, like he should have died in that car accident, like really should have died. But he came back. It was like for him to come back, right? I get so confused when people pop up on your social media and tell you to go, fuck off. I don't know. People do that all the time. They're telling me to be nice, but I don't have to be nice. I don't have to be fucking nice on it's my social media. If you don't like what's on my social media, then you leave, not me. That's not up to me. It's up to you. But that's fine. But yeah, that's an interesting point, Tammy. I know there's some people that do really believe that. That's an interesting point. And an interesting area to begin to explore more of, and I wouldn't doubt that some people do that. They might go back and they might die, and then they go back and they have a conversation with their God or with their angels or with whoever their counsel is, and then decide to come back. So people who may have that, if that's what you mean, because I know people who've died, they've gone, and then they've come back. So that could have been an exit point. So it's interesting. It's just that because when we come back into this life, we don't remember as we get older, when we have the part of our brain to sort of make logic out of things. It's as a child, I believe children up to about the age of 7 really remember their past lives and the energies of their past life. It comes through in many things that they do. So I find that really interesting to watch children and how they respond or how they act. Has a lot to do with, past lives or how they feel within this lifetime. So I find that really, really interesting in watching that, because as they come in, it's even though that they're like, and every soul is old. There's no such thing, when people say, "Oh, he's such an old soul." We're all old souls. We've been in this incarnated in many, 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 many millions of times. Some of us have popped in and popped out very quickly. Some of us have died. Some of us have died. We died in a war. We were killed in many different ways. So there's many different lifetimes. What I find unique are new souls, and finding someone who is like new to this world. And there's a lot of them that have come in now that are new to this world, and they are, part of that starseed energy that has come in, of this new energy for transformation and change in this world, to bring it in. And I think that's a lot of the Pluto, the last generation that just came in with the Pluto and in Sagittarius energy. I think there's a lot of starseed children there. The energy with Pluto, and because Pluto's death and transformation, the Pluto with the generation with Pluto in Scorpio, I honestly still think that they are the indigo children. They're the ones, a lot of them are going through their transformation with their Saturn returns right now. So going through huge changes in their life at this time. That's when I blocked myself, was around 7 or 8, because of what I was told by my nanny. Yeah. So a lot of people, they get told, they get it blocked. That's one of the things, is like, I don't want my grandson blocked at all. Like, if he likes a rock, you like a rock. That's, different crystal, you pick it up. Today he picked up a fire agate. Why? Because he felt like he needed it. Hey. It's allowing for that because it's their intuition is telling them something, and your intuition knows far more than your brain, right? So it's trusting that intuition, trusting that. Your brain just brings in the logical part that tries for you to decipher it to live into this 3D world. So that's quite interesting. Yeah. Good topic today. Love it. I love when I never know what I'm going to talk about. Except for when I look at the planets, and then I just like go with that, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is what's it, and then we go to the death. But Pluto is known as the death one. He is, and Saturn is the Lord of Karma and the Lord of Time. So he's the one who makes, and that's why so much is happening at this time in Capricorn, because he's a ruler of Capricorn, bringing in transformation in our timeline right now. And bringing such significant change, especially when it's coming upon when we see the world points, which I explained, which is very much like the wheel of the year. These changes and transformations are bringing in renewal and newness in our life. And anytime any transformation happens on Earth, it always has to do with a plague. And bringing in new medical advances, brings in new ways of thinking, allows us to be expanded in ways that we never thought we would be expanded. So this is, and right now with Uranus coming in, he is the higher octave of God. So coming in with that higher octave of God, coming in for the transformation and change, and being where he doesn't like, farthest place from home, and he's squaring home right now. He's squaring Aquarius right now. So bringing in a lot of changes that we have to make in our communities, in the way that we function, in the way that we react, and be together and harmonious in this life. Interesting. So I think I've spent a lot of your time already. I'm going to love you and leave you. I have a reading to go to. So have a fabulous day, and may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Thank you for being a part of my community and asking so many fabulous questions. And I love it when people challenge me with questions and asking them. So I think that's wonderful, because that opens up a conversation that we all need to have. And we all need to have that diversity, because diversity brings in uniqueness and beauty. Blessed be everybody. Bye-bye.